Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
And just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Yo, yo, yo. Here we go.
Oh, man, that's so funny if you're, one of the three of us who was in the room before we started recording.
Why is it super funny?
Because he said, yo, yo, yo. We just spent 10 minutes talking about Chris Brown's yo.
I couldn't even tell you that was intentional.
Oh, we just fucking incepted you. Wow, Jesus Christ. Well, aren't inside jokes fun for everybody who's just turning into a podcast? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Welcome, you guys.
Inside jokes are always easy to come up with when someone's just fucking dumb. Just saying stupid shit. There's always a joke to make that out of.
Oh, fuck. Well,
yeah,
we're here.
Here we are.
Another day in the life. Desert Heart's coming up this weekend.
Barely here, though, because last weekend or a couple weekends ago, which whatever this
That was
is.
what it been last week.
Yeah, so,
Man, I think I fucked you up last week when I was giving you shit for not knowing what week things were coming out.
We know how to say it for going in ahead of time, like saying what's going to happen in the future, but then like
This is going up Thursday. This Thursday.
Going backwards.
Pretend like it's Thursday.
Because of what happened yesterday, which was amazing.
Art in the Park numero 6.
Yeah. But
holy shit, man.
It was great.
That was the biggest one yet. So that was so awesome to see everybody and how much it's grown and how people were responding to those mannequins. Like, that was just so cool.
Yeah, the mannequins are a great idea. Thank you, Phil, for throwing that out there. And I'm glad that we persisted on that, even though we didn't get them till literally I actually had to dip out during this whole setup for way longer than expected to go pull those out, but it was all worth it because I brought them over dismembered and just dusty as fuck, but put them up and everybody that came, and we did have such a great turnout of artists, and really all of the artists that I had been hoping for to make it out to one at the same time. A lot of the people that I post on the Psychedelic Lions Den Instagram ended up coming out and actually just getting down, and they were all fucking amazing. Like, they were really unique, and they all got to take theirs home. And Joey actually did one that the guest of our episode today is going to be using for her stuff at Desert Hearts.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, so
that is cool.
She's going to take Joey's and this other one too and use them for her stuff while promoting them. So that's really awesome.
Oh, that is fucking awesome, man, because Joey's looks so good. It was like Starry Night on like a person. Like if you were a creep and you're trying to like sneak up on Van Gogh, like when he was painting the thing and you just wanted to dress like that.
I'm glad you got that vibe from it too, because I said that in the beginning when as he was painting it, while it was still just blue. I was like, oh, this is some Van Gogh shit.
That's what I thought too. When I saw like he had just like a hint of like some lighter shading like around the legs, and I was like immediately just like the brush style. Like, that's Van Gogh as fuck right there.
Mm-hmm. But it's very moony, and what did it? Dreamy.
And I think we talk about Loving Vincent in this episode.
We do.
Oh, fuck.
God, it's all coming together, man. It's all
dude.
one. We are all. It's all fucking. Collective consciousness, man. We're all on the same wavelength right now.
We should really remember, like, whether or not we're gonna do an intro after a previous podcast before getting high. Oh boy. This is a rough one.
Well, this is me sober, guys. So, that's that. Is that Tom Cruise behind you, by the way?
What?
Because
I feel like you were trying to set up a bit. That's Colby Smulders, Bull.
Really?
Yeah, right?
I think it really was. That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like, I was going to say, it looks like a woman that looks like Tom Cruise.
That's fucking Robin from How I Met Your Mother.
That was? Oh, shit. No way.
Yeah, pretty sure. Anyway, this is not fun for anybody else. That's the theme of this episode, right?
Yeah.
This intro right now.
This is just another thing showing on Kevin Spacey's basement TV.
Okay, yeah. Think of all the fun you're missing on my Chromecast desktop screensaver. Yeah, anyways.
We have Mackenzie Douglass on the episode today. We've had her and her husband on before.
I feel like we have two guests on the show today, because Mackenzie Douglass has another little Douglas that she's carrying around.
Oh, yeah, David the Fifth.
Yes, that's right. David V. So,
Yeah, David the Fifth. That's gonna be coming out. Whether it's a boy or girl, she does not know the sex of it yet. It
The
is
only
going
thing
to be
that we
called
know,
David the Fifth.
the name is going to be David.
She's probably just gonna listen to this and be.
Well, I mean, like according to like trademark and copyright law, if you put it out there in the public domain, it belongs to you.
Uh-huh.
It's a thing that you say because you can call back to that if somebody were to challenge your ownership of that concept or that idea. And so, frankly, I think since technically this is the first thing where we're publicly stating that the baby's name is David V, legally. Fucking summa cum laude, what's the legally blonde term, whatever, that baby's name's got to be David V.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly why I
Lawyer.
did it. I knew that the whole time.
Oh man.
And I'll have to educate some people on bird law a little bit too while we're at it. But yeah, next weekend's Desert Hearts, and she's going to be fucking vending there, and it's going to be amazing because I've learned this past weekend, that not only is she going to be vending there, but also her husband's going to be vending there. I mean, I knew that, but the Elixir Bar is also going to be vending there.
Oh,
and
my
then my friend
goodness.
Katie Seabrick's going to be vending there, and I think that Jocelyn was going to be vending there too from Miraculous Gems. I'm not sure, but there's going to be a shit ton of our friends all vending at a really big festival.
That is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah.
We're taking it over.
Yeah.
Little by little, man.
So now I'll be like, having that much more to do. I'll probably be hanging out, helping out when I can, and just like, getting a whole different experience with the festival, instead of just partying it up the whole time, kind of, seeing how that thing runs.
And by being like from the creator side, that's going to be cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. Probably, hopefully, maybe give me some inspiration to maybe jump on that for the next time around. So yeah, it's a great episode. We talk about we go ahead and get into just what it's like to start up a business based on something that you become passionate about, and I think that's kind of a common theme for the show. But we
dig into it and like the challenges that she's facing, kind of at a classic choice between this thing that she's so passionate about and the art that she makes in her own form of self-expression and becoming a mother too.
Yeah.
And how much of that do you give up? In the archetypical story, how much of that do you give up to
right,
serve the child? But
it's most people in the position that she's in might just automatically hang it up and say, oh well, that was a nice dream for a little bit and I have something else to do. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can definitely still continue to pursue your passions while being a mother and pass that down to the next generation, to your little kids, to your little mini-me's, that instill in them the passion, or the drive.
Well, don't give away the whole ending.
Well, yeah. I guess we'll just let you guys talk about it. But what else have we got going on, Phil?
Well, beyond that, I'm actually at a loss. I don't think I got much to promote.
Well, I am going to be going out to this weekend to the Lost in the Sauce, if I remain healthy, because I think I'm kind of getting a little cold and I don't want to get sick. But Lost in the Sauce, Fuzzy Puddles, their camp out in the desert. It's going to be a weekend of bass music, and then the following weekend's Desert Hearts, where it's just nonstop.
I totally forgot
house
that was
music.
this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting next 2 weekends, kind of having the polar opposites. You got one mini festival that's all bass music, and then the next one's just like pure techno and house music the whole time. There's no stopping that,
Why can't we heal the divide and just switch it up every once in a while at both of them?
Well, I think that, having...
I think it would send a strong message to the rest of the country.
Yeah, well, I think that, it's kind of nice to
I
have
had
that.
a dream where bass music
Well, actually,
could transition into house music.
there's going to be a little renegade stage where Mackenzie Olsen will be leading that in the house.
Performing all
Performing
folk
house
music. Just to really throw a wrench in things.
Right. Actually, I want to kind of do that. I want to create like a little mini festival of our own, but have it just be like absolutely ridiculous, like folk music. Not even like tasteful folk music, just like make it absurd.
We need to take all the weird things from like other music festivals
Mm-hmm.
that are not music and then just bring them to these. We need just weird genre stages and fucking pie eating contests. And
Well,
shit.
speaking of weird genre stages, that remember we talked about in this episode with the baby cello.
Oh shit. Yes.
Baby Cella.
Oh man.
Speaking of that shit's going on like this weekend and next weekend too. I heard there's like 130,000 people there.
I believe it.
That's fucking
it's nuts.
ridiculous. I just can't find any part of me that would want to go to that right now at all at this point in my life.
Well, I am hearing across the internet that, people are basically claiming to have seen Jesus because Beyonce's show was so good. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what happened.
Damn,
but
they did
people
it
are
again?
losing their mind. And I'm hearing it from like every other, thing that I look at and see. So
I might go to see Beyonce then. Never mind.
yeah, I think it's the one.
I was kind of blown away when we were in Hawaii and we were listening to like her album, that one, whatever it was called, the one that was way surprising to me. It had Jack White in it and shit. Lemonade, that one. I was like, damn, shit's good. I had no idea.
No,
Way different.
she earns that cultism, that
Right.
cult fanaticism. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Do you want to just get into it?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and talk to Mackenzie about this
Okay,
stuff.
guys. Well, make sure, don't forget to follow us on social media at Let It Bleed Cast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Dave at Hoodrat Stuff with 3 F's, and the Psychedelic Lions Den, all of course with underscores in between that. Psychedelic_Lions_Den. Myself at Nobody Cares Phil on Twitter and at Phil. Wait. Oh, I was so close to nailing that. Sorry, guys. You know what? I'll link it to you. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
Yeah.
say the thing.
Yeah. Well, here we go. And as always, let it bleed. Sun out this much, like doing a podcast with the sun. I like it.
Well, the only shitty part is that we're gonna have to close this door too because it's loud outside. And yeah, let's make this quick, man. It's gonna get hot.
I'm just hot all the time too, so.
Oh, what? Whatever would be making you hot?
I know he told you. And then Ryan told you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so.
Congratulations,
we're
my man.
expecting a little human. in
First
a few
time
months.
That's
So
awesome, man.
What else do you what else happens now that you're pregnant? Do the cravings, what kind of cravings, or random moods that you get in and stuff
No moods yet. Well, and through my eyes, I haven't really gone through that. You should ask my other half that question.
Okay.
But no, the first 3 months was really tough. You just feel like you're hungover every single day for the
Really?
entire day. Yeah, it's really gross, actually. So you wake up and you're completely nauseous, but you are hungry, but nothing sounds good. So it's you just maybe want I just wanted fruit a lot because that's usually what I like when I'm hungover.
Mm-hmm.
So smoothies, or pizza. You eat you're just hungover.
Right.
And then I got tired towards the second month, third month, and now I'm in my second trimester. So my energy's coming back. And now I'm just so hungry all the time. An insatiable
You gotta make
appetite.
up for all that hungover time, I
Yeah,
guess. Fuck.
definitely. Yeah.
I
So
think I might actually be pregnant then. Because
You've
I
been
go
pregnant
through
for a
all
while,
that,
right?
and then everybody says, "Oh, you lost weight," but I still have this little bump on my belly
You still have a
still, and
little
it's
bit of hunger, yeah.
everything else lost, but I can't seem to get that little bump down there. But I mean, the whole nauseous waking up and wanting to eat everything but not anything at the same
Yeah.
time is all
The
all
both
too
of your
familiar.
kids are gonna be best friends. They're gonna be the same age.
Yeah.
You guys.
his food baby and
Exactly.
our human baby.
This is
So
perfect.
we already kind of talked about it with Ryan. We're trying to smooth it over, and then he said to talk to you about it. But to have David is the name, obviously. Well, we did talk about this over at the Lizards thing, but have it be David the fifth, right?
Yeah, it was David the Fifth.
David the fifth.
Who's the fourth?
I don't know,
That's to be
but
determined.
Okay.
maybe
Okay.
mine will be
Okay.
David too. I'm thinking we're on a race now, and then so
Gotcha.
it'll be
We'll
out
see.
first. It'll
So
be.
if it's a girl, I still have to call it David.
This is totally unprecedented, by the way, because it's I'm the Virgin Mary Arnold Schwarzenegger, in Junior,
Oh, okay. I
when he
like
has
that,
his
yeah.
own kid. But I never had sex with anybody to have this kid. I'm just gonna have a kid out of nowhere. So
It's the
I like it.
immaculate Schwarzenegger. No,
Yeah.
immaculate,
Conception.
okay. You know what?
something.
I will come up with something more clever than that,
Yeah.
and I'll edit that back in right there.
It's kind of funny because I also posted the picture of this art that somebody did, that Eddie did today of Danny DeVito like meditating. Frank.
I did
from
see
Always
that.
Sunny.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he's tied in with Junior, right? Wasn't he the doctor in Junior?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. See, it's all one, man.
conspiracy.
He's
It's
also the twin in Twins.
They planned that, man. The Freemasons did it.
Man.
Man,
Wake
so,
up.
Cosmic Danny DeVito.
Wake
this is
up.
off to a good start, man.
Absolutely. You got the synergy this time. You had enough of the hurricanes, I see.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, this is a daytime podcast. So the daytime podcast, it
The
comes
sun's
with the
out,
kombucha.
so
Yeah.
you need
Got
to.
it.
The sun goes down.
Yeah.
So do the hurricanes.
Ooh.
Bree doesn't give a fuck about that rule, apparently.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't give a shit.
I'm not going to pretend like I haven't drank some of that too.
Our
So,
live audience, if you ever come and are part of our live audience,
Yeah, if you
Hurricane
want
is
tickets
the
to the
only
live
drink
show.
that we serve.
Please, just reach out.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a lot of things lined up for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of things lined up for you. I mean, the universe has a lot of things lined up for you. You've got...
You speaking for the universe
I know,
now?
I'm speaking for the universe. I'm just,
And we
now
just
that
got
I...
The
humbled
general
ourselves.
counsel.
I've woken up and, now that I'm like, this virgin Schwarzenegger baby maker
Yes.
guy anyways. But,
I think we already found the episode title.
you've been busy, aside from being pregnant.
Yeah, from making a baby.
Making a baby
Yeah.
and working full time, and then doing what you love to do, which is something we've already had you on the show before but if you want to tell people that are tuning in for the first time that probably didn't hear your podcast last time, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I'm the creator of Puff the Magic Hats, which I make pom-pom hats and accessories for festival goers. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now, which has been really fun. And I'll be vending at Desert Hearts for the first time. I've done some one-night events, but this is a 3-day festival, so it'll be a good experience to get my product out to thousands of people and spend the day at a booth. It's going to be a very different different way I approach a festival. Obviously, I've always been there for the experience of an attendee, but as a vendor, I think it'll be really cool. Kind of worked out perfectly because I can't really do anything while I'm pregnant anyway. So I'm it worked out good. So
Well,
It's a
another
real-time
thing
baby.
that's kind of funny for anybody who listened to the previous podcast, they listened to the episode with your husband on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we kind of had the all other end of the
back-to-back
conversation.
Douglas
Back to back Douglas
Oh,
action.
yeah.
And we were saying how, it's just ridiculously amazing how fast, and how on it he got with the business that he started with Essence Vapor.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you both are that way, where is everybody's kind of got their ideas and we're all starting, well, a lot of us are starting our businesses and following our passions. But as far as being on it every single day with social media and having things locked down, it's really amazing to see how both of you guys in your own ways are going about that. Since you started, social media is just crazy. You've got all these people doing photo shoots with your hats and
Yeah.
getting it out there.
Yeah.
And it's
exciting.
tough. Even just doing the Psychedelic Lions Den page every day, it's wow.
it's a commitment. It's a full-time job in
yeah.
itself. And
Yeah.
and I've taken a step back these last 3 months of doing social media and even working on hats and stuff like that because I just needed a breather because it consumes you. Instagram, and I've touched on this before, has just changed its ways and it's really difficult to get a good reach and you have to be on top of it. You have to respond to comments in 60 minutes and it's just a real big hassle. And it's not like I'm sitting at home just watching TV and I have time to respond to everybody and everything. I have a full-time job, and so
you almost find that it's just
difficult.
easier and better for yourself. At least I find that putting those inquiries on the back burner for a little bit because it's not life or death, whereas before in the beginning I'm the type of guy that just really couldn't not text somebody back right away or whatever.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand how people could be like that. I had so many friends that were very artistic and they created a lot of things and they just you wouldn't hear back from them until 3 or 4 days later and you're like, what's going on? Why can't they text back? Well, they're busy. When you're not busy, you don't understand what that's like, and when you're not putting your heart and soul into all of this other stuff, that's kind of what you're ready to do that any second. Now I'm I can't, just the thought of having to respond right away is just, it's going to take away from what I'm doing. So I just
right. Yeah.
I've become that person too,
Yeah.
And What's up?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought
Well, I've also come to finally like find this groove by like doing too much. Like I don't like tell myself, well, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to do this and do that and focus on other things that I need to get done. It's like my brain's like, well, I'm in creative mode. I want to create. That's all I want to do. I come home and I neglect all of the other responsibilities that I have. And so all of these things, though, they're in the back of your mind constantly, you know, and they add to the stress. When you wake up in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, you got a whole different thing that you're worried about right now. But for me, it's like, oh, my gut's just like turning with all of the things that I need to get done that I know I'm not going to get done that day. And they're just piled up. So I've kind of I'm going through it right now where I just like finally cleaned my car. I tackled my car first, like deep cleaned. Like it's been forever. And that's another thing. Like, you know, you feel dirty, but you don't want to care to change it. So I deep cleaned my car yesterday. I took the extra time to do that. And then like I started cleaning my room and I did what I would normally do, except I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I went deep into everything, like all the documents, everything, and started going through them one by one, every little thing. And like my room's a fucking mess right now. That's why I gotta still go. I still have to go. So I have to go home. I have to finish doing this thing where like I don't realize like how much junk I accumulate and just leave everywhere. You know, just it's like I have like 7 screwdrivers, 20 bottle openers, 6 wine keys in the drawer that just like, you know, you go to get it. You like, you know, it's like I don't.
You throw them in there. And you just completely forget about them for years.
Exactly, man. And they're all there. I finally gathered everything up, and I'm like, fuck, you know, like it was just hilarious. And so I've got to do that as well as finish this painting that was due like last week, and then paint a couple more things for the big draw on Wednesday. Yeah. And then there's the 420 camp out coming up that I also have to have stuff for. I'm just kind of like, there's not a moment of free time.
I know. It's really consuming. And that's what I'm kind of in this space right now. Like I'm gearing up for Desert Hearts. Like I want to make so many hats to like take with me for inventory. But I'm so overwhelmed that it's almost crippling. Like I don't know where to start. Like I sat in my room over the weekend and like cut fabric and like got things ready and stuff, but I didn't feel like I made any progress.
Right.
And it's so frustrating because then Monday through Friday, I'm going to work 9 to 5. I get home at about 6 and I've got to make dinner. I've got to, you know, hang out with Ryan and, you know, take the dog for a walk and do all these adult responsibilities that I have to do. Yeah. You know, I don't have space for creativity Monday through Friday normally, you know, but now it's like I'm kind of in this crunch mode and I don't want to say obligation, but like I have this thing that I was excited for, and now I'm like kind of in this crunch mode, like I have to get things done, and I don't create well under those circumstances when it's pressure,
right?
You know, and it's on my own fault. I should have been starting this way back in January of getting ready, but I'm a procrastinator by nature, and
well, it also comes down to you got to do it when you're feeling it, you know, and it's tough when you get your passion or when you get your creative energy flowing. But it's at the most inconvenient times, like at work when you can't do it, you know, like when you get an idea and you just want to roll with it. Like that's why, like, you know, that's why it makes sense for people to be full-time artists where they just work on their art all day. Like I get it now. I didn't used to understand that. I was like, well, do they really need to do it all day? Like, yeah, you know, you gotta be ready to go and create when you're feeling it. You know, otherwise if you force it, then it shows. Yeah. It really does.
Yeah. And so we'll see. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself because, you know, I just, you know, whatever I have there will be that. And I can only just show up with, you know, what I have and not emphasize too much on
And if you
the
sell out, then you already did better. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, guys, we sold out. You know, like, sorry.
Exactly. And like totally the ticket to vend was just as much, well, a little bit more than it would have been to attend. And we were planning on attending regardless. So I can't say that I'm really out any money, you know? Right. So it's an experience in itself. And, you know, it's there to collaborate with other vendors and people who might stumble upon, you know, our booth and connect with people, and who knows what might else show up, you know?
It might be the last one for a little bit.
I know. It's so sad.
I mean, and that's good though, because, you know, we've been talking about this for quite some time. A lot of the people in the group have been talking about, you know, that you don't have to go to every single festival or event, because they're always going to be there. And we're doing more and more on our own too, to make more events like this. So there will always be these opportunities, but to take time to kind of reset and, you know, focus on experiencing other things that you don't experience too. Like, well, for you being a mother, you know, and raising a child, but, you know, focusing on being able to go and plan trips and vacations to do other things, you know, it's important. You know,
definitely.
It really is.
There's life beyond, you know, festivaling.
It's just that FOMO. It fucks you up every time.
Of course.
It's just everybody's like, every time you go, oh man, I want to go, because then you're the one that's not there. And that's the battle, because I try to act, I get like, I'm like, nope, kick my fucking, you know, I dig my feet into the ground and I said, nope, I'm not going. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get this done this week. I'm going to get this thing. And then last minute, all right, I'm going to go. I'm just going to fucking show up, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't, unfortunately, gotten to have that spontaneity in the last 3 months or so. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's obviously going to be a very different experience. I can't, you know, partake in the normal things that I would, but that's fine in itself. And it's kind of a joke between Ryan and I. It's like, I never got to have my last hurrah. So I'll have my last hurrah sober. So,
well, you know, and I mean, not to say that I'm going to completely, because I mean, this is definitely something I say, I'm going to go and I'm going to be sober. Then it never happens. It ends up becoming the exact opposite. I end up going to the full. Like, but I'm really like, I mean, Joey's coming this time. So,
that's exciting.
You know, one of the things that he and I were talking about as we were like kind of trying to go shopping, prepping for this, for just getting everything we need, was that I wanted to make sure that this time while I'm there, to take advantage of where I'm at, and really, because I don't get out and get to soak up nature like I used to. I was always going out at least once or twice, 3 times a week to go on hikes and, you know, check things out, and really just, you know, fulfilling my, you know, my need for that. Because I do need it. I go crazy when I don't have it. But the last year, I learned my lesson as well as at Eclipse. You know, I couldn't get as connected spiritually, or just, you know, even just in a clear, positive sense, because I was just so consumed with the party. And like last Desert Hearts, I just stayed back at camp most of the time. You know, I was like tired. It was like, it was so much work for me. Even and going to Eclipse too, I was just tired, like exhausted. When the event itself exhausts you more than, you know, than anything, than what you're getting out of it. It's you know, so this time I'm gonna go and try to definitely like pace myself and just try to be like as sober as much as possible. Yeah.
Well, now you have a different perspective on art too, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for you to collaborate and chat with other artists there that are live painting and like the art gallery and stuff like that. You know, like you obviously always had a passion for it, but you know, you might tell people about art in the park and spark a, you know, bigger audience or something. So
true.
Because it's almost like you guys have an opportunity as, you know, veterans of festivaling and Desert Hearts, especially now with some major stuff to contribute that exists outside of that. It's almost like you can go back and talk to, you know, whoever the next version of us is at these festivals, and, you know, bring them into the fold like that.
Definitely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Well, it's funny when you meet those people that we are the next version of already.
I'm sure there's a more articulate way to say that.
Yeah, but you know, like we are the people that, you know, we're doing the people that are throwing these events right now are the big ones that we're going to anyways. Are like they've said, a lot of people have talked to a lot of people in our group and said, you know, we see so much of us in what you guys are doing right now. You know, what, like everything that's playing out, all of these connections and all of these things. And it's just crazy how, like, you know, it really isn't as planned as it is, just it kind of just falls into place. You know, the people that you meet, the connections that you meet, and like a certain amount of time later down the road, it's just like, boom, you're throwing an event together, or you're hanging out and you're, you know, planning, you know, different ideas for different companies, or what you want to start, projects that you want to go off with. So I mean,
when you think about it from year to year, it goes by so fast too.
Oh yeah.
How many people have we met this year? Like I'm sure I can't even think about it right now, because like I know I've met a bunch of people this year and I see them all the time, and I think it would probably only be when I really sat down and like wrote it out, I'd be like, oh shit, I've only known them for like 6 months.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
it feels like you've known them so much longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when they're on the same thing, you can kind of sense it. You know when somebody's on that grind, that same path, like they have the same interest, and you could trust them. Because there's a lot of stigma when it comes to a lot of events that, people go to, and I think that the ones that we go to, the reason why it doesn't seem that way to us is because the people, there's more of a connection. There's more you could trust other people because you feel it about them, that they want the same thing that you want. They're really about the cause. They're not just going, not to say that everybody's like that.
Right.
There's obviously a lot of people.
There's definitely a lot of people that are not. But
And you're never going to escape that. But the ones that you end up hanging out with or associating with, the ones that you really make contacts with, those are the people that you're like, yeah, I get it. That's why, because they're on the same, we get it.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways.
So one place you're definitely gonna find those kind of people,
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they have that tattoo guy there this year that I didn't get a chance to get a tattoo from last time.
We've always said that. So
They
I'm
always
sure they
have?
will.
I heard when I talked to him and when I got mine from him, he was saying that he's there like every year.
Okay.
So
I didn't know you got one.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I just got like a little robot on my shoulder.
That's rad.
And
So you got to choose what you wanted. It wasn't
yeah.
like you.
I came to him with like an idea, and he's like, and he just sketched out like a super simple, like, black guy. Man, block guy, not black guy. Don't write in. Shit, I don't know if you guys can see it, or I'm just like awkwardly like shuffling around. I don't know.
Take
where
off
it is. Too far back.
your whole. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
Pop it off.
Okay, cue the music.
So it was. So it was sanitary. Like you didn't.
That's when I was kind of asking you too.
Because it's so dusty.
Because it's free, and it's like
free,
you're just kind of like thinking like, how does that play out? But I guess
he's got to be doing a
he
ton
had the
of
alcohol
people.
wipes. He wipes it down.
Sanitary
and so
needle and gun.
I mean, he was doing as much as you could out there. Sure, it's a risk, but hey, it's free.
I mean, you're fine, right?
Exactly. I lived. And I have all the same diseases I had before that.
Okay,
so
good. No new additional ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Hepatitis C.
But that's what I'm talking about, though, because that's me at festivals. Like, I don't even like go and ever really do all of the other things that are there. Like, there's so many. Yeah. I mean, I'll cruise through the vending booths once or twice because, of course, I want to check out to see what I want to buy. But as far as workshops or even like free tattoos, like it wasn't until they were like, I got these free tattoos, and we was like, let's go. He wasn't there. Damn.
Yeah. Every year I've taken my yoga mat. Have I ever gone to class? No.
I've done that a lot
I'm
too.
going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to do a yoga class, and it's going to feel so good because I'm hungover. Never ever done it.
That was me at Eclipse. That was me like, damn it, I'm doing it. I'm definitely doing it this time.
You would think because you're there for 7 days, you're like, I got to take a day, at least a half a day off.
No, because then you got Dave just kicking back, and he's just like, hey, you want one of these?
That's the
All
problem.
right, yeah.
You can't go with the people who,
Yeah.
Or you could just say no, kids. My God, like nobody paid attention in their class over here.
You have self-control, which I don't. Yes, I'm going to prove it to myself that this time around it's a little different.
Are you arriving Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
give you
Thursday?
till Friday at 5 p.m. and then you'll be. You're turned up.
I mean, I'm good. I'm not abstaining from anything. Okay. Like, I'm just saying I'm going to be a little bit more in tune with, I'm just not going to be that far gone.
What's the over under on him being blacked out by that's like before his tent
Friday
goes
night for sure.
I mean,
first night.
I won't black out. If I was just drinking by itself, that night I'd black out. I would,
Yeah.
But I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I always am.
I'm not worried about you.
Good thing about Desert Hearts, you really can't get lost or have a bad time or it's beautiful even if you just stuck at your camp.
But I do want to go into there was a last year where we camped. I mean, I didn't really go there until the last day, but there was kind of that little nook that takes you down. It looks like it was like a dried up ravine or something, but it's just you could go down and walk forever into the woods. And I didn't.
Well, there's people always up in the mountains, and I've never understood how they got up there, but people hike up top of those mountains or hills or whatever.
I'm gonna do that this time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out there.
Yeah,
there's plenty of paths around there. It's not too didn't look too crazy.
No,
but I mean,
you just really every time I've gone, you stay within kind of just because there's always somebody wanting to go to the stage this time, and there's always somebody that's
Right.
like, or they're cooking some food, and you're like, okay, I'm going to stay here and eat this food because I'm probably not going to eat anything for the rest of the next 2 days.
But you always have a good time, and that's your experience. And that's
Right.
like part of like going to festivals is like you always have this plan. Well, not always, but you try to have this plan of what you want to do, and that just goes out the window. And I think that's part of like a reflection of life is like you can plan certain things and have goals and aspirations, but if it doesn't happen, like you still have an experience and it's still the journey.
Yeah, every time I've gone to Desert Hearts,
Yeah.
it's been a completely different experience where I've taken away something different from it.
Right.
And so this time, I want to just
Sorry. Don't worry about
Is
that.
this a makeshift
It was a makeshift like
incense lighter or something?
Yeah.
wait, what is that? Is
It's
that
like
a birthday
noodle.
candle?
It's a noodle on
It's
a stick.
It's a noodle
It's like to
scotch tape
A
to
burnt
chopstick.
noodle, by the way. It's
Well,
crispy.
I'm assuming they
Oh,
lit
it
it
was
on
used.
fire and like trying to like light
Yeah, no, we
another
lit
fire.
candles.
With a noodle.
Yes.
How did it light?
Why
That
didn't
kind
you
of
just light the stick?
I'm sorry. I thought you guys were creative people. Is that not what we were just talking here?
I find it
Okay.
very creative.
Yeah,
I've
but-
been
gonna-
analyzing.
and that
it.
was-
But why
actually
didn't
great.
why didn't it just like melt the noodle? Like, isn't it supposed to just
Yeah, like noodles catch on fire.
But like, why wouldn't you just light the stick?
I don't know if the stick lights is easy.
Is it a cardboard?
I don't know.
noodle?
I didn't
What's
actually
going
do
on?
it. It was
It's a
her.
real noodle.
But why is it?
And of course, she like.
I'm glad you
just
didn't
went
get to
the
the tape
bathroom.
because that would have been plastic and that was.
Why didn't you get a hot Cheeto? You can do that with Cheetos. Like they're totally
They flame.
flammable.
Hot
like,
Cheetos are flammable.
Are they
Yes.
called?
Why is that
Flaming
not
Cheetos?
on? Is that why they call them flaming hot Cheetos? Yeah. What the
Probably.
fuck?
It should be, but they are literally. You can light them on fire and like use them like a candle.
Wow. That
Which
sounds
is really
not
concerning.
good for
Yeah.
what goes into your stomach.
See, maybe this. Yeah,
But then again, it's that pasta. But I don't know.
yeah, that's
Does it
that's what
smell like Cheetos when you burn it?
I don't.
Like I feel like that would be a really nice candle.
I mean, I don't know. I actually was not into hot Cheetos growing up. That's like the one thing.
I mean,
didn't
they're
get
about
into.
the same price as Nog Champa,
Yeah.
Like just one of those small bags, right? So
What a knock choppa?
Nog Champa,
What's that?
the incense.
About.
Oh, okay. Yeah, over my head.
No, I thought this was the crowd where I could name drop an incense brand. And I
No.
get nobody.
The blue box?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I just
I
buy
wasn't.
it.
I wasn't really allowed. Like, I remember we would go to the swap meet, and they had all those like those incense places all over the place at the Orange County swap meet, and I would try to get some. I mean, my parents were just not. They were not down with us like lighting incense in the house, so I just never.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it was never a thing for me.
Really?
Really. Yeah, I just.
Did they think it was like?
Well, it just
Smell funny?
It just smelled,
Hippie? Like-
they were just like,
Yeah.
why? Like, why are you doing that? It's just like a very like
Earthy,
pungent like
yeah.
smell. Like it's like we don't want to smell that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. So like, essential oils are a different thing though. They like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
Doesn't-
got my little diffuser over there.
I know. I
fucking
was
love
spotting that.
thing.
That's a really fancy one.
Yeah, it's just really cool. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not that expensive. It's like $40. You know?
Yeah.
And I use it all the time. It's so simple.
And it lights up, right?
Yeah.
What are the ones
Yeah.
that you shouldn't do though for your dogs? Apparently, there's like a couple of them that you really shouldn't
Like
use
even
if-
diffuse.
Yeah, if you have dogs, because like there was a story that, and of course this could be just like one of those stories that they like try to throw in there to scare everybody. Like, and you shouldn't do this, like what the news does all the time. But like, my mom, she shared with us like this thing because my sister started diffusing
Yeah,
essential oils, and she was worried about her dogs, obviously, and apparently some dogs were getting really sick from, and I just don't know which one.
Yeah.
There's a particular one that they're like actually
I've never
allergic
heard
to.
that.
So
I could
this is
understand
why
if
they
you're like,
test them on animals first.
yeah.
So they can, put the proper warning labels on.
that's
I would imagine it could like harm them if you put it on them, but like diffusing it in water
because of the way that
and then
they.
vaporizing it, like it doesn't.
I mean, it could have been fake news. Who knows?
It probably was fake news. It's
probably
probably
those
the
things like on Channel 4.
anti-essential oil companies.
Coming up at 11, is lavender killing your dog?
They're trying to kill your dogs. The hippies are putting lavender in your diffusers, and they're making the frogs gay.
They're making the dogs gay?
They're making the dogs gay.
Oh, no.
Turning everybody gay up in here.
Pretty sure Peyton's gay. I think he's bisexual.
Why do you say that?
Well, he likes a few girls in the neighborhood, but he likes human boys. Like he humps human boys.
He does
Yeah.
hump the crap out of
I
us all
honestly
the
think
time.
it's just territorial
Right.
thing, but like
he senses they're
goes-
males though.
Yeah,
Like he knows
Yeah.
that they're males, which is
so
interesting.
he's gay for human boys. So
Do you think it's like he's trying to more or less get dominance, or do you think he's trying to? Okay, so it's that, or it could be that he's trying to
maybe it's a little bit of business and pleasure, you know.
He's trying to kind of like I
haven't talked to
relate
Peyton
to the guy.
recently,
More. What if he's trying to show the guy I like you like more, like it's like I want to be your buddy. I don't know.
Maybe it's like some 50
I don't
Shades of
know.
Grey stuff, where it's like no, like I'm establishing dominance, but also I like you.
it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't, like, he was neutered right when we got him, when he was like 4
That
weeks
doesn't
old,
change
6
anything, though,
months.
for their
Like, you don't
hormones,
think?
though.
Like, if you castrate a boy, like,
I
you
mean, it
think
apparently
he-
doesn't for them, because my dogs want to fuck everything too, even though they don't have. Well, not the little one. He's a trip, the little Yorkie. But the Shadow, I mean, he's definitely had his moments where like you catch him, like you're a parent catching their teenage kid that left the door unlocked on accident or something. You're like, and they even have the like look of shame. Like he like kind of like hangs his head down.
Oh, they know.
Like they fucking know. They're definitely smart. And I mean, you have to wonder how fucking intelligent they are.
Yeah. But Peyton doesn't do it any other time unless there's a strange man in the house.
A strange man. So I
man.
take that like as
So
I'm the
that's also
strangest man,
probably
because
like a-
he's like he just tries to get up on me all the time. But it starts off like he comes up to you. It is very territorial. He's like who are you? Huh? And then he's just like, if you're not paying attention to him, he's like, you're in my house.
It's prison rules up in the Douglas house.
Seriously.
It's weird though,
No
because
pillow is safe.
it's always so weird how similar he does look to Shadow, because even my mom saw it's like, what, like just. But she just was like tripping out on it.
Peyton's bigger, right?
A little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, and
we need to get them together.
yeah.
Long lost brothers.
Shadow's a little fatty though. He's like, he needs to get out and exercise a little bit. He's definitely.
Peyton had to go on a weight program because he was a little overweight too. He had to lose 2 pounds,
Sheesh.
cut back his food, go on more walks.
Do you have any Puff the Magic hats for Peyton?
No, he wouldn't wear them.
Really? Not even for a photo shoot?
No.
Like, just like.
I would need to make it for Bitsy because she actually likes
Oh, let's
stuff.
put stuff on.
You ain't kidding. Seriously though. Dang, that's so funny. But
Yeah, no, Peyton's so not into wearing anything.
you just nope. Well,
No. Yeah.
Maybe we could put Shadow in there and disguise him as Peyton.
Yeah.
That way you can,
Would
people-
Shadow wear a little hat or
Probably
something?
for like a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll do it for a little bit
Yeah.
for sure.
Well-
Lola was the one, my old one.
Yeah.
She would have wore something because she's just like still. She just like she would just sit there and just like put it on for a little bit. Like I put glasses on her, totally
Aw.
styling.
Yeah.
But
You need to make some thunder jackets
Yeah.
for dogs.
Thunder
that's
jackets?
That's your next
that's a good one.
the next page on your website.
Is
of
that like
other
a leather
offerings.
jacket?
No, just like
No, they're like the
With the
when
dog-
dogs start
Oh,
freaking
to,
out,
like-
they need that little compression shirt or whatever that like
Yeah.
calms them down and like
Do you think
a
those things
thunderstorm.
actually work?
They 100% do. Now, my brother's
No.
dog, when I used to live at home, Logan, he's a little Whippet
Oh,
Chihuahua
I've met
mix.
him before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so whenever he we on a whim we bought him a taco costume one time because that's hilarious and
Yes.
adorable. And we realized, oh shit, every time he starts like freaking out, like, the door's open, there's somebody like somebody's ringing the door or there's people over and he's just like running in circles and just like losing his shit. We put the taco costume on him one time and he immediately calmed down. He was just chilled the fuck out. And then we're like, wait. And then I thought about that Thunder Jacket commercial
Yeah.
that I would see, every night at like 3 a.m. on, infomercials. And I'm like, oh shit, this thing probably works the same way. And then I kind of looked into it. I was like, oh yeah, they do need that like, that sort of that
Yeah.
hugging feeling.
That's what I mean. What I
Interesting.
do is whenever they start freaking out or whatever, I just go because they're small enough to. I just grab them with one hand, pick them up, and just hold them right there like that.
Yeah.
And then you could feel their heartbeat like
Yeah.
as it speeds up when they're like nervous or anxious, and then as it slows down. Like my dog with the little Yorkie, he just has this like little dog syndrome. Like he's got to be the tough guy, but he's like the biggest chicken in the world.
Yeah.
Anytime he hears from across the room, he's
Yeah.
assuming that it's somebody at the front door, and he's got to be the one that's tough, that's protecting mom more than Shadow.
Yeah.
Shadow never used to bark at anything or anybody. He didn't do that shit. It was only after this freaking dog just started doing that. Now they both do it. So every morning, I'm like
Yeah.
getting it anytime somebody walks by the house or whatever. But you'll go and just like, hey, and he's just like all mad. Or even if I pass by my mom, like I'll pass by my mom, and it's like 1 minute he was just loving me. And then like if I'm walking from the kitchen too fast to my room and he sees me, he hops over her and to come up there and like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, like all
Even
crazy.
though you live there, like
yeah,
he's
totally.
still
It's just
super-
like the weirdest.
Yeah.
He's such a. I've never had a dog like him.
Yeah.
And then so like I'll go and like if I move my hands like and make any sort of like gesture that he's taking that I'm a threat, like I'm trying to hit her or whatever, and she'll play into it too, and she'll be like she'll do this and hit me, and then like she's like get him, and he'll be like rah, rah. And I'm like don't do that, he's gonna give him a heart attack. Literally, he's like super like crazy. And then like I'll go and put my hand right in front of his thing, like cause he'll go to bite it, and then if I put it right there, he'll just lick it. And it's just like an instant switch because then he goes into the mode of like,
Passive
I know I'm a
aggressive,
cute dog and this is how I get out of dying. Like, I'm going to try to scare you. But if that doesn't work, I'm going to go to what works for me. And what has worked for my kind of dog for, centuries is like, for my people is let's just be cute as fuck and not have them want to, do anything but love us. And so I pick him up like that and just hold him. And you could feel his heartbeat just going, and then finally slow. You just got to do what you're saying, give him that embrace.
Do you think it's something that they like, I don't know, when they were little or as like wolves, like how would the compression like of a shirt or a costume
I think
like,
what they
feel?
Maybe it's just what they've gotten used to over time, like something that shows them that the human, like if they're being hugged or something, that's probably like a comfortable feeling. They know they're safe.
Yeah.
They don't have something to worry about. I mean, that's what I would.
I mean, I don't know enough about wolves, but I would wonder if it is similar to like the cat thing where you can grab them by the back of the neck, like where their mother would usually pick them up, and that just disables them.
Yeah.
Maybe
do
it's something
dogs
like
do that too?
I think they do, but like
not often.
No,
I can't.
I'm completely making this up. I get
cats.
high
You're
doing
right.
David
Cats for
Attenborough
sure do
documentaries,
that.
so I don't
I'm
know.
not sure about dogs though. Could be the same thing, but it makes sense.
I don't think I've ever seen a dog do that.
Maybe they all have like tiny shirts that
outside
they
of
get
a
made,
cartoon
like,
or something
back in the day, and like those are the ones that they selected to breed. I don't know.
Like I think 101 Dalmatians I've seen that, but outside of that, anyway.
I mean, Disney distorted every's perception of life. So
yeah, I know,
wouldn't,
right?
like, take
I was just
anything.
thinking about that today. I was like, how much I love the Disney cartoons, but then how much like there's that other part of me that's just like, it's all a lie. But it's just like, who cares about? I mean, this or that. Anyway, I don't know.
I mean, did it really fuck us up that bad? Like,
No,
did I honestly think I was going to find Prince Charming at some?
I wasted a lot of time trying to
castle.
catch and sell Dalmatians, but that's just me. Like, it's a learning experience more than anything else.
What was your favorite growing up?
Cinderella was my favorite when I was little. I used to call it Gumpy Gump. I have no idea. My parents like make fun of me for it. I don't get it.
Maybe because of Gus Gus.
Maybe.
Gus.
I thought I had maybe
Gus
had.
Gus?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
And then when I got older, Little Mermaid was like one of my other favorites. Beauty and the Beast was good too.
We have Little Mermaid sell at my work that I'm just trying to get rid of. It's original production cell.
That's
from the
awesome.
movie, and it's from the Kiss the Girl scene.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
it's cool.
How much is that going for?
That one's like, I think $5,000.
Oh shit!
So when you mean original, it's like
It
the
was
one they
used
for the
in-
storyboard or something.
No, it was actually the cell that was used in the movie.
Oh.
So like it's a photograph cell. So what they
Wow.
do with the animation real quick is that they take the drawings, all the many drawings that they do, and after polishing them up, then they trace them and paint them onto a celluloid sheet, which they photograph over the background. And that's each cell. It would be 12 frames per second or 24 frames per second, and they would double up on the cell. So it was like 12 different hand painted cells per second that they needed for animation.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So I see the value.
Yeah,
That's really
it's
cool.
quite the like production,
Well-
especially back then. How they used to put it together. My God,
well, and
man.
it was rare now because they got rid of them. Like when they switched over in the industry to digital, they didn't foresee this market for them. They didn't think they were going to be worth anything. As
Yeah,
far as
now-
they were concerned, it was just like scrap paper.
Yeah.
Like they didn't think that these guys were going to be so legendary, that these things were going to be so big that people are going to want to pay thousands of dollars for them. So they just destroyed them and got rid of them.
Shame.
And yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. It's what makes it.
I'm sure they're all like just kicking themselves right now, looking at all these other, cells, especially rare ones from original animations and other cartoons back in the day beyond just Disney, and that are going for so much fucking money right now. That's
People like, nostalgic things, and to have an original piece is priceless to some people.
Yeah.
Like I see value in $5,000 like that. I mean, that's
it's a
a lot
piece
of
of
money,
history.
but I get it. Like
that's how I saw it.
a,
That's how I saw it. It
Yeah.
is a piece of history because it's true. I mean, you're buying a piece of history right here. Like this isn't just like a piece of art that looks cool or anything. I mean, and when you really understand and learn all of the stuff that goes into it, it automatically becomes that much cooler to you. Every time you see one, you're going to be like knowing what to look for and knowing what to do in this. I mean, how it just jumps from how your passions can just take off from like learning something so small that you never knew about something that was always in front of you, you know? Because I said, my dad I grew up with my dad working for this company, and we had cells in my house, and I could care less, you know? Never thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing.
So you realize how fucking cool that shit is, man. Hey, have you seen Loving Vincent or Love Vincent? I forget what it's called. It just came out this past year. It was about Vincent van Gogh.
Oh, I heard about that.
And it was actually, the whole movie is animated with paintings. Yeah. And so 24 paintings per second of the whole movie about Vincent van Gogh's life, all done in the style of like, you know, Starry, Starry Night. It's one of the most like crazy projects that I think I've ever seen in my life.
Probably the gnarliest undertaking, because especially being that I'm assuming oil paintings.
I remember hearing about it like 6 or 7 years ago, like seeing something on like Facebook or Reddit or something like that, where they're like, yo, check out this like movie that they're making. And they're putting out an open call to all these artists to, you know, come and, oh shit. Wait, I think we might have a technical problem here. There we go. We're back. Okay. Ooh, there we go. Oh, I'm hearing myself again, all nice and crisp. Oh, wonderful. It's good to be back, you guys. Well, anyways, let me finish that story. You know, I saw this thing about 6 or 7 years ago, but they were just having an open call for different artists to come in and contribute to each of the, I guess they wouldn't technically be cells, but, you know, every single frame of the movie was its own oil painting.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So these other artists painted a replica of a Van Gogh piece.
Well, the movie was like all drawn out, like shot for shot, you know. And so they had the whole script, they had everything all acted out. They knew kind of what they wanted, and then they brought artists in to paint everything.
Okay, so is it about his life?
Yeah, it's about
an animated.
His life.
Okay,
but the problem is,
I just need to watch it.
I was like, just totally not in the mood to watch like a fairly dry portrayal of his life when I actually sat down to watch it. So I watched the first 30 minutes and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I was also kind of high, and I'm like, and I'm bored as shit right now. Like, I'm gonna change it, but like it was really good though.
Yeah, you appreciate it for what it's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the concept is more interesting than the actual, you know, subject matter.
Yeah.
I feel like they forgot to write in like interesting things like before they decided to go in on this.
Well, people are they're looking at it for for the process that they went to make it. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way. There's things that people, this is a great movie, and I'm just like, I'm not in the mood to watch that.
Yeah, no, you've really got to be. Sometimes I want to watch Friday again, and sometimes like I'm down to watch, you know, the English Patient. Why can't I riff a better fucking like dry movie?
It's hard for me to get into movies though,
today.
especially dramas lately. But one that I saw last night that I actually was just like captivated by was like, you know, really just watching intently was Wind River. You seen it?
Never heard of it.
It's and I'm terrible with names. What's the guy that plays in the Avengers and the white guy that plays
that narrows it down to all of them.
The guy that's forget his name. Is it Jeremy something?
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Is that
the guy with the bows?
Hawkeye. I think you said hot guy. I was like, what?
I thought you said hot guy
That's
too.
what I thought you said, and I was like, is that what he's known for? Being a hot guy?
Yeah, the Avenger, hot guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, him.
No, Jeremy Renner, hot guy.
He kicked ass in this movie, and it was like a pretty, you know, touching story. It was actually, you know, a really sad story, but it was, you know, a great drama. But check it out. It's based on a true story.
Yo,
Wind River.
I saw. Have you guys seen Wild Country yet?
Yes,
Holy
Wild
shit.
Country is so.
Is that the one about the cults?
Yes.
It's like you don't even know that happened.
How is everybody not talking about this all the time?
Right.
And it happened in like the like early to mid 80s.
Right. But the thing is,
fuck?
I mean, they definitely did a really, really good job of like making it like this, because they make you want to know, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
The whole intro is just done so well to keep you like, what? It's so mysterious.
Yeah.
It's like
you have no idea where
psychedelic
this
movement, right?
yeah,
Within
so-
a cult.
Yeah, and I've actually
Sort of,
listened.
yeah.
And here's the thing: it's like that's what it goes into to try to make you like think: is this a cult or is this not a cult? And they give you all of these different perspectives, like the complete polar opposite perspectives, and they don't really try to frame it any which way. You know, they kind of like make them just come out and say exactly what they're saying, and they're obviously conflicting, so it leaves it up to you. And it's hard for you to tell sometimes, like, who do I like and hate here? Like, you know, like, 'cause,
I was fully with them for like most of it, you know.
Yeah.
Up until they get to like halfway through, and you're just like, oh, okay,
Right.
yeah.
But
they
then-
were not good people.
But then you're like, you don't know whether he was bad or if it really was just her that like kind of got carried away and did all that. You're just like, what's going on? I don't know.
Well,
They-
it's
No, I'm
hilarious to me that
intrigued.
like they never really show like him or his teachings really, or like him doing much.
because I was listening to so many of his teachings and I had no idea that that's anything that happened to him. I just had a friend that like turned me on to like YouTube videos of this guy talking. I was like, this guy is, you know, dope as fuck. I could kind of see how a lot of people, but to that magnitude, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Like,
I looked him up afterwards because I couldn't really understand what the hell his teachings were from the series. I'm like,
yeah,
oh shit, okay, I kind of get this. It's like
it's like very
it
like
doesn't
it's-
make a lot of. It's like some of it is directly hypocritical, but like he even acknowledges that
Like a
too.
true
It's-
cult is.
Yeah,
Their
it's-
beliefs aren't always.
It's weird.
Well, you know, that's kind of a lot of what the ancient philosophies tying into new philosophies are. I just actually started reading into some Egyptian philosophy because of kind of to just study it more on that project that I was doing
yeah.
with that girl, you know, and she like recommended these books, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, holy crap! Obviously, a lot of it seems hypocritical, but it's all about like how, you know, paradoxes actually do make a lot of sense if you really understand and get to these points. Like it's our confines to the, you know, what conventional wisdom is, you know, and it's like there's polarity in just about everything, you know, there's always there is and there isn't. Anyway, his shit is pretty fucking good, but when you see that video, that movie, you're like, what the fuck? It's just like,
Well, like they
Yep.
didn't really show much of it. Like I didn't really pay too much attention to like the first episode. It was really the second one when shit started to get crazy. I was like, oh, okay, I'm watching the rest of
oh,
this.
you haven't seen the whole
and
thing?
then no, I have seen like the whole thing now.
Okay.
But I'm saying like the way it was like building up, like I didn't really have any kind of understanding of, like it was still a mystery to me kind of what his teachings were and why all these people were so into it. And it seemed like this parody of it. Like people were like, and he I guess he calls it in his teachings like a parody religion almost, you know, like a parody guru. But it didn't make any fucking sense. I'm like, how could anybody look at this guy and buy into that shit? It was weird, man.
Yeah,
It was
no,
creepy.
yeah.
It
If
was
you
like
don't
this mass
understand where it's
hypnosis.
coming from, it is definitely a mass hypnosis.
Yeah.
Though there was like it was something at the time. Like there was just a lot of people trying to like latch onto something spiritually. You know, I think that people needed to feel that something different and new on the rise. Like they needed to belong to something. And he even says it himself at the end. He goes, "I'm not your God. You know, I'm not anything for you to worship. I'm just a person. It's all within you." After, of course, all of the other shit went down, you know, but he like says, you know,
Yeah, well,
and-
as soon as everybody stops doing stuff for him, he quits and then leaves and keeps all of his like fancy, you know, millions of dollars in gold watches. And shit. I'm like, you're what? You're so. It's
Now
just
I'm
it's
intrigued.
fascinating. It's
I gotta
such-
watch it tonight.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I'm just wondering like were people just really reaching for something like that and having never had experienced that before in the 70s.
a drama.
'Cause I can't imagine any of that shit would fly today on like a mass level like that.
No,
at least
well,
in this country.
How many
You never
following?
know. You
How much
never know.
following did he have?
It was a fucking lot. I
Was it a
forget how
compound?
many he had. He built a city.
No, it was a whole
They legitimate were a city. They created a city out there, a couple hours north of where we were actually for the eclipse. Yeah, like right in that area, like the boonies, you know. And then so
insane.
there's the whole story with like obviously these like, you know, Christian like white people that are kind of at the same time being like, you know, God doesn't want them here sort of attitude, you know. And so it's like it's religion versus fake or pseudo religion. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just what's interesting to me though.
It was also crazy to me that like, okay, it doesn't take that much, to like do what they did. It's fairly straightforward. If you have the numbers and everybody is coordinated, like they went out, they made a city, like completely functional city. They like took over government, like through the normal processes, just voting for themselves up and up. I'm just like, oh shit. Like that kind of made me nervous, They all bought like guns.
That's the part that obviously,
the
part that was like, okay.
Because they had guns.
The part.
No, they had a fucking police department and they had full on like, yeah.
No, they also armed themselves because they were getting harassed by these people, but they fucking over-militarized themselves and they were like fucking scary. And when you see at the end, because really what they were trying to say is that everybody kind of thinks that it was mainly the chick that like was his vice president or whatever that like ran shit for him. Like she basically took him and built this thing around him, but she did all the work. And she was like kind of obsessed. Well, she was definitely obsessed with him.
Yeah,
like she was super obsessed with him. But like she also was just kind of like a Scarface chick, like on her own. Like she was just like, she had the mentality and she would go on television. This is the thing. She would go on television. And obviously it probably didn't make nationwide news. It probably was very big in their local community. But she would go on there and argue with like conservatives like left and right, and she had fucking balls, dude. Like she was not like she didn't fuck around, but she'll go on there and she'll say to a camera on this interview that like that it was never anything bad, but then like, okay, bitch, they found like all these fucking like wiretapping things in your like this secret room. Like they found
I'm holding back so much because I don't want to like give it away because it's still pretty new and I want people to get excited about this shit, but it's
you'll still trip out.
Mind.
Anyways, but I was watching The Path before I actually fell upon Wild Wild Country, which is also this like dramatic saga of like this kind of new age cult, kind of like a mix between Scientology and something else. But it goes like that, and it just shows you all of the different places that these people are coming from, like mentally, psychologically, and how like these things evolve. But the way that they frame it in the drama is that like, it's not necessarily like everybody's out, like these people that we all see as bad are like sitting down with the intent that they're going to be bad. It's just like they're going along with a bunch of bullshit up until a certain point that like they got to either do something about this or not, and then they do, and it shifts everything in this different way. And it's all about that though. It's this cult like thing.
So it's a drama about people joining a cult or becoming a part of a cult.
So it's like all the aspects of
like
it, like
humanizing
so, like,
okay.
It shows like so like where they get into the story is like after this thing's already been established, they have a huge following, and there's this one guy who's supposed to be like the leader that founded this whole thing, but he is, and I don't want to give it away, but it's not going to give away too much, but he's dying. And they don't know that. Like he's back in a place dying, but everybody else thinks that he's like writing these like scrolls or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like, then there's new people that have to take over this church, and then new people get involved, and then there's like the government's trying to come after them for certain things, but then like they're getting sucked into it too. It's just like this whole crazy entertaining thing, but it does jump around a lot without context, and you're kind of just like, oh wait, okay, so now there's definitely holes.
Well, does it kind of get you into the mindset and kind of walk you through the journey of somebody who would be a part of that stuff?
Yeah, and many different aspects. In many different, like you see different types of people and for different reasons, and how people started into it and how they're getting out of it as well. It kind of really does go. I think that for that aspect of it, just being able to think and wonder and put yourself in their shoes and give you kind of a, step by step how this scenario would play out, because we watch these things and we just think, oh, that guy's just got crazy one day, like he just decided to get crazy. But there's a lot of things that happen that make these people think that
some of these things, some of the like the hearing people after the fact is like really fascinating, and how they talk about this stuff. Like I don't know if you've ever heard Megan Phelps Rober, I think her name is, talk. She used to be part of the Westboro Baptist Church. And she was talking about like what the day-to-day is kind of like in there, and how they viewed like their own actions internally versus like the rest of the world. And it was kind of crazy to me how they like excused themselves for it, and knowing it was wrong, and like their logic that kind of got them to that place. I mean, I thought that was really, really interesting, especially somebody
you'll
who
like
finally,
this then, yeah,
like who finally broke free and went, whoa, okay, yeah. We were wrong. Everybody else was right.
Yeah. The Westboro churches, they're the ones who like protest.
Yeah, they protest like military funerals and stuff like that.
And
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember listening to that podcast. Cults are very fascinating.
They protest. I never heard of that. What they protest? Military funerals. Why?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
They think that because of our sins, that's why we're in war, and that it's because people aren't accepting God into their life. So these are the reasons why these kids are being killed and we're in war.
I mean,
So-
they say they're just kicking up controversy for.
I thought that they were more
sake.
like I thought that they would have been the ones that wanted war and like against terrorism based on what I loosely heard from them, because it seems like they're very just racist. And
No, I think they just want conflict, So like they're like, what's the worst thing we can do? Like, oh, did a bunch of children die? Let's go, let's go stand by their graves as their parents are crying and call them fags. Like that's like their mentality to like
But they
spread
think
the
that
word.
they're
Oh, okay. So
doing-
are they the ones too that were doing that like during the Sandy Hook shit too?
maybe.
I want to say yes because it sounds like something that they would do, but I do not know for sure off the top of my head.
Got it. Well, let's shift gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because before we were talking about some cool, interesting
anyways,
things, and now we're
Puff the Magic
Down
Hats in there.
that wormhole.
so
Beautiful
Cults.
rainbow puffs.
So we were talking about, how we get into these things and how they kind of just grow on themselves. Like, what was it that made you realize that that was your niche, like to get into with Puff the Magic Hats anyways? Like that was the thing, because you're obviously like, you went to school for fashion, as you said before, but it was for a different thing. But you've always had that about you.
Yeah.
The designer's always been within you. But like to go and actually pursue that one particular thing, what was it about Puff?
Well, when I went to fashion school, it was for marketing aspect. So I've never like wanted to do design. I'm not an artist in that regard. I've always liked
That's nonsense.
I've always liked the idea of
I'm just gonna put this on right here, and if you can't see, I have this ridiculously sized top hat that I'm wearing, covering my face, that she made for me back then.
it's so perfect for you.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So I never like really thought of like designing clothes by any means or accessories. That was never my thought when I was 18 years old going to fashion school. It was more like the business side of it, in which I dropped out and went and got my bachelor's in something completely different. But I just loved festival fashion, and I thought it was just a more creative outlet to really express yourself, because like what we wear on the street is yes an extension of who we are on the inside, but I think people would dress in a totally different way if they really didn't give a shit what other people thought or what the norm had to be, or
Right, and that's one of the aspects I absolutely love about festivals is like it is, because you get some shit from people. Why don't you just dress like that all the time? It's like, because like, to be honest with you, let's just be real. Like we all have, real jobs and stuff that we're having to go.
Yeah.
And you can't really just go and dress like that all the time. Like at least not yet. Whatever. If you feel comfortable, by all means, do it. But that's what going to a festival is so great for, is like you get this opportunity to let your freak flags fly, and you just can do whatever the fuck you want to do and not care about what anybody else says.
Right.
Go out there and get wild with it and just be funky.
Yeah.
And if I could find, if I can create my life to where I'm paying myself and I could dress any way I want, I'll probably dress like that all the time.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I would do. But it's
yeah.
just, and it is what it is. But I mean, I remember at the Desert Hearts, it was the spring, the first spring that I went to at Desert Hearts, where the very first Puff the Magic Hats, the one the bowler cap, right? That you had, was it a bowling cap?
It's like a marionette hat is what they
Okay.
call it.
Marionette
but yeah,
hat.
close enough.
And
It's
I saw
same
you
look.
wearing it, and I was like so jealous.
I know you were jealous.
I wanted it, and then I wore
let you wear it for a while.
Yeah, it was fun, and I mean, but that was the one. That's like the one that like stuck out.
Yeah.
Out of stock, because I mean, everybody's doing something, but
Yeah.
that's like your thing. That
Right.
I mean, not to say nobody's ever done that before,
Right.
but I mean, you definitely are the only one that I know that it's made as much as
Yeah. I
as
made a
much-
name for it in the way that I do it. Yeah. And it's funny because I've been trying to expand into like making different style hats that aren't don't have any puffs on them. And it's funny because like I will get a little frustrated because I like don't know which direction to go. I don't feel like it's a complete look. Like I'm a little harder on myself. And like on Sunday I was like, for Desert Hearts specifically speaking, like I need to get back to my roots. Like I'm Puff the Magic Hats. Like, yes, I can go with all these other hats, you know, that don't have anything, you know, attached to it, but that's not who I like who I
You got to keep it real.
started
Keep it OG.
Yeah. You know, so because I was sick of it myself.
Mm.
Like I just felt like I was, you know, like I got bored as a designer. So I was like, I'm going to do something else. But
Well, that's what you should do.
That's
yeah,
always
it
nice,
evolves.
though. I totally know that feeling. You know, when you
Yeah.
kind of get sick of your own work that you're doing,
Yeah.
and then you move on to do something else, and you're working on that for a little while. And yeah, sometimes that can get frustrating. But then when you go back to it, like back to your roots, you're just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot that I
Yeah.
really like this.
Yeah.
You got to
I
create
know.
a new
You just
line
gotta
every
take a
once
break
in a while.
every
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
a derelict.
Yeah.
Derelict.
Yeah. So, so that first Desert Hearts, I mean, I just made it for fun. I had no intention of making a second one.
That was a great
And
outfit
then
overall. The alien.
I'll be bringing it back
Nice.
this next time because
Very
I
nice.
just didn't have time to go shopping for other outfits. So I'm going to have a lot of repeats, but that's all right.
Hey.
And
Your
so
outfits are so on point
I-
though. Like you can stand to do them like 2 or 3 times. Just to
I wear
make
the
sure
same-
it's
ones.
proper coverage.
I
All
wear
right.
this. I just blend them differently, but I bring a big tub with all the same
Yeah.
things, and I just throw
Yeah.
them together based on how I feel. It's
Feel
like
that day? Yeah.
painting, you know, just like right on the spot, like abstract painting. I'm abstract dressing myself. Like
definitely.
I'm wearing a shirt as pants. What the fuck?
And you can do that and get away with it.
You can do that
Yeah.
and
people,
get praised-
somebody's going to be
get
saying,
praised
I was
for
just
that,
going to
too.
say,
That's
somebody's going to be
so
like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically like
Yeah.
harem pants with like
Yeah.
like
That's
you
a
know,
shirt.
the shirt. If you put your legs through there, you know, then you got like a little spot, so you don't have to take it off to pee. Like, yeah,
It's true.
Perfect.
I like that.
Perfect.
Puff the Magic Pants.
Yeah.
it's my new company.
Wear
That's what
some
I'm here to
ankle
promote
pants.
today.
No.
Ankle pants. Have you heard of ankle pants?
I don't
Oh
even know
god,
what
do I
that
want
is.
to?
I think yes, because that was actually they made a mock lineup for Desert Hearts that they
Oh,
released. That
ankle
was
pants?
yes, I did see
ankle
that.
pants was the first thing that was up there, and I didn't really think anything of it.
Oh, the faux lineup.
Yeah,
The
and
fake one or
and
whatever.
then somebody told me no, check out ankle pants, and I YouTubed it and watched a video, and the music it was very interesting. Like the video itself was like interesting and cool, except there's like one aspect of it that you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like it's so weird, but so good at the same time. And the music's actually fucking dope. It's not anything that'll ever be mainstream or like super popular, but it's
Okay, so it's not
What are
a
ankle
garment.
pants?
It's
What are ankle pants?
it's not about what they are. That's the name
Oh.
of the artist. That's
What
the
the
name
hell?
of it.
Oh,
That's
oh,
the
Yeah,
name.
I know.
thought
I
this
totally
was
thought it was a piece of
clothes. Like,
clothing.
okay, I
Yep.
thought you were trying to like go full Rajneesh on me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
you know,
no.
it is and
I
it
was just
isn't.
saying-
it's not what the pants are.
That's my brain off
It's
of
how
this
you
weed
use
pen
them.
going from one idea to the other one. It was like ankle pants. Oh yeah, by the way, have you seen
yeah.
ankle pants? So anyways, what sort of advice would you have at this point now to tell anybody? Because I mean, you're obviously learning new things as you're going along, and you've come since we last talked. There's been
Yeah.
so many things that have come up. What would you tell people now?
Just do what makes your heart happy. Do what makes you get excited, and just do something out of the ordinary. I think it's important to exercise creativity. We live in such a, hate to say it, like mundane world where everything is just so robotic, and we wake up, we go do what we have to do. And it's like, that's what I liked about Puff, is that it's colorful. It brings life to something. And that's, I'm sure you both realize that I'm a colorful person in myself. So it's an extension of my personality. And so I think it's important to just do something that makes you happy. And honestly, like I made that hat and I didn't have any intention of it going anywhere or one person thinking anything of it. And I did it because it made me happy and it completed the look I wanted to wear that day. And, and it made other people happy. And like my ego side like took a hold and was like, that's cool. Like I should do it and everything. But I just think it's important just to create anything, even if it's just even planting a garden or, like painting a picture, even if you're not an artist, by anybody's standards. Like, I think it's just important, or even editing a photo, I think it's important to do something that's out of your 9-to-5 world. So
I got this quote from Chuck Jones that's really stuck with me because it's something that I've learned too in all of my creative endeavors is like if you're doing something that you really like and putting everything into it, your passion into it, then people are just gonna like it because they're gonna
They
sense
feel
it.
that.
It's like
Yeah,
the energy.
definitely.
They really truly understand that. Well, Chuck Jones did this quote, and this is something that I just discovered at the right time. I was walking by and it happened to be on the wall outside one of our buildings. It says, "The rules are simple. Take your work, but never yourself seriously. Pour in the love in whatever skill you have, and it will come out."
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
great. I'd like you to send that to me.
the most succinct, perfect, like, embodiment of this concept that we hammer all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That dude was
Yeah.
articulate as fuck.
He
That
should take
guy,
my
the way
spot.
he spoke and wrote was just like, as what he was reading, like Mark Twain at like 3 or 4 years old.
That's
Some
insane.
really- I know that sounds like
That's
impossible.
kind of weird.
Yeah, but he was like,
So his
he
like
was a-
lullabies
he
at
was,
night his parents would read to him.
well, no, his parents. So back in the day before there were televisions in homes, and that was something that people did. You know, he would move around with his family, and they were kind of wealthier. So he ended up, you know, when he would choose a house that they would rent because they moved around a lot, they would choose the house based on the library selection, like the selection
cool.
of books in the library, like
Yeah.
you know how their library was, and so they were all reading Rudyard Kipling, Mark Twain, all these books, and I could go on and on about the history of
They
this.
realize
stuff.
you can
Yeah.
move books too, right?
Huh?
They realize you can move books, right?
It's too much of a hassle, I guess.
Apparently, like that's
a real weird
that
reason.
that was a common like staple of homes and shit. Like I guess
So the owner would create a collection in the library, and then they would just
They would just
that
leave
would be
it?
part
they
of
would
the
be
sale.
like renting houses, I guess, like you know, because I don't know, what if like they're moving again and then they have to get rid? I don't know.
Is that like the free HBO of
Yeah.
like the 1920s or some shit? That's
You know, it probably is. That's a great way of fucking putting it. It's like, oh, they should have a free library. Like,
yeah. Wow. Okay. That's. I learned something today.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing either. But kind of going back to what you had mentioned at the beginning of the podcast about Ryan and I creating businesses, and I think we both obviously have had an entrepreneurial heart, and you know, doing it. And now that we're having a kid, I hope that we both keep this, because I think it's important for kids to see what other kind of jobs are out there. Because had I maybe you know, in the Midwest, it was more about sports. It wasn't really creative, and my parents aren't.
I feel you 100% on
Like
everything
my
I think you're
mom's
gonna
found
say.
more creativity in her adult life, but like when we grew up, there was never any of this. Like I would cut up shirts and stuff, and my parents would be like, "Oh, that's really cool," but like I never went to classes. I never like really harbored that, and like I would love to show our kids like I make ridiculous hats or whatever it evolves to, and your dad has more of like a traditional business, so to speak, but you can do whatever you want. You don't have to make any money at it, but like at least you're doing something that's
Absolutely.
you know, out of the ordinary. I don't want my kid to think they have to be a doctor or a lawyer or, you know,
But I think this
any
sort
teacher or anything like that. I think it's important for
Any
and
of
your
like the
parents
6,
to like
occupations that they tell you can be when you're a kid.
yeah. Like I had no idea that I could do this.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know that was an option on the table. Like I thought of being a fashion designer, and I didn't like high fashion. I couldn't draw. Like I didn't know sticking something on a hat could equate to like a business, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's part of living in the moment without trying to plan your shit way too far in
Right.
advance. You
And
gotta-
don't sell yourself short either. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, all Van Gogh did was, stick some paint on a piece of canvas. It's like, no, there's
Well, and
really
he
no-
also
Yeah.
good example of somebody who was even famous until they fucking
Yeah,
died. So
yeah.
that's a whole thing too. But I think that with what you're saying, because I can relate so fucking heavily on that with like growing up being encouraged to do anything with sports, anything that was that either had something to do. If it was anything church related, of course you could do it, and it would be like highly encouraged, but it really didn't happen that often until like later. There was a period where I did that. But then sports, anything with sports or like school activities, yeah. But if like whenever I wanted to skateboard, it was like, like, why do you want to do that? Oh, you want it? Like they were kind of just like discouraging in a way of like getting into different hobbies. Like they wanted you to narrow it down and go a certain path. But I think that for me, it was the thing that motivated me to do it more.
Right.
it's weird how that
Yeah.
works out. And I think that for my kids later, when I have them though, like that'll be the right time for like, that's how it kind of works in families like that. You see, like, you know, as it goes down, it's like, there's got to be somebody that discovers something. They get into it, they figure it out, and then they like pass it on down for a few generations, and then they discover something new, and then they kind of do that. Not, you know, saying that they can't do whatever they want all the time, but
it's still good to show them that you have a passion of your own. Like, I think it's important to, like, your parents are your role models when you grow up, and like to see your parents impassioned about something and not just, oh, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, we cook dinner, we go to bed. Like this whole rigmarole that we, you know, get ourselves into. And like, I think like my other thought about this, because people have asked me like, oh, what are you going to do like with Puff once you have a kid? Like, are you going to continue to do it? And my hope is yes, that I continue to do it. I think as a female, it's so important to have something that's your own. Like, women get so caught up in having a child and being a mom, and that's like who they become in their identity. And like, yes, that's a part of me, but that's not who I am. Like, my child is obviously an extension of me and will become my whole world. But, you know, I want to keep a part of me that, you know, I created as, you know, an adult, and I don't want to lose it. And maybe it'll evolve into something else, but I don't want to lose that sense, because when my kid becomes an adult and moves out or doesn't have any interest in, you know, being at home anymore, like, I don't want to look and be like, shit, where did my life go? Like, now I have nothing. I don't know who I am. Like,
yeah, because you don't want that to happen to you.
No.
Yeah,
So, you know,
no.
that's exactly what it is. Like, that's what we've come to realize. Like, we don't, you know, we love our parents, you know, for doing what they did and instilling these sort of, you know, these grounding things that who knows what would have happened if, you know, it was the other way around. But that, like, I know that I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do what I want to go this way. And like, part of me thought like, well, you know, to honor them would be to, you know, do what they kind of want. But I think later I always end up talking myself into this. I'm going to honor them by doing something badass one day. You know, I'm not there yet. They have no idea. They think it's not going to happen. But one day it is. And I'm going to buy them a house or something and you know, make up for it. Make up for all those years and be like, ha.
But I think that's such an interesting dynamic that parents and kids have. You know, like, parents are always like, oh, I want my kid to be really interested in what I was interested in, or I really want to do my parents proud and do, you know, get them a house, for example, or everything, which is great because you want to share what you're impassioned about to your kids. But like, they're their own consciousness. Like, they're going to want to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Right. And as a parent, in my eyes, a responsible adult, you should let them do whatever it is, even if you don't agree with it. Like, I mean, obviously, as long as it's safe and not like doing drugs and like being a drug dealer or something
but
like
I
that.
think
like,
that with that though, I think that
like,
the universe a lot of
you know,
times
like,
for a lot of people kind of put the people to test. 'Cause I think a lot of people obviously would say, yeah, I want them to try things. And then you don't know. We're human beings. Even as parents, I'm sure, you know, we still suffer from like our own ego trips, our own things of like, well, fuck, I don't want them doing that. I don't want them to associate with that. Like, you know, it's just like, what? You know, as a guy, I'm sure you could think like, I don't want like there's been stories of the guys like, I don't want my son doing ballet or whatever, you know, and it's a big badass. But like, you know, it's just a funny thing how they could do whatever they want, but when you don't know until you're in it.
You're right.
You're
absolutely
still learning
don't.
as a parent.
Like,
you're learning something completely new.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's, you know, like you said, I can't predict the future and I can't make a plan for my life.
But you're going to give them some,
you
good
know,
example.
But at least I want them to like, oh, my parents do, you know, different things, and you know, my aunties and uncles are friends and stuff. Like, I'm so happy we have this network of friends to like expose our children to, because I think it's so important to see, you know, that your friends are your family as well. Like, we both come from Hawaii, and Ohana is not just your blood family, and it's the family that you've, you know, created through friendship. And I want to instill that into our kids as well. And I think it's important for, you know, like, obviously it might not happen right away, but you know, like Arts in the Park, like take her kid there. Like, I don't know if Eddie and I forget her name.
They came by for a little bit last time for a second.
It's so cool. Like, once the baby gets to a certain age where it's, you know, you can spend more time and stuff to like expose a kid to that, I think is so cool and different. And I know it's probably hippie or eclectic and, you know, whatever, but I think it's good for kids to see that,
No,
different side of life.
It's not, there's nothing wrong with what's going on.
Yeah.
And, it's funny that you were saying about your aunt, because I was just getting flashbacks to your wedding, your dad saying that about that in your speech. So it's obviously been passed down and instilled in you.
Yeah.
So that's a good tradition to keep going. That's something that's worth keeping going, because I'm not very traditional by any means, but, that's it. So, well, good. I'm so glad that you're going to be doing that, and I'm going to be that guy that's like the drunkle. Is that what we called it?
The drunkle, yeah.
For David V. So
what if it's a girl?
David V is also acceptable for that. But, we're wrapping up here, and we, thank you for coming on once again.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we've got Desert Hearts. I can't wait for that. I know that we're going to have a good time, and I'm excited to see what you sell. So is there anything that you would like to plug right now for yourself or before Desert Hearts? Anything you want to tell people?
Obviously, a like or a follow is always encouraged on Instagram, Puff the Magic Hats. Other than that, if you're going to Desert Hearts, I would love to meet you. And I'm sharing a booth with Thriftsy Gypsy, who thrifts clothes. And so it's kind of a vintage shop, as well as like making her own designs. And then obviously I'm sharing a booth with Ryan, so you guys can vape and dress up with us. So I love to meet anybody wants to come by. Other than that, after that, I mean, I'm kind of just taking some custom orders and stuff. So of course, if anybody's interested, I'm always down to collaborate with people and make a hat. But that's about all I want to share.
Yes.
So
and then after that, David V, and then you start the baby line.
Yeah, Baby Puff.
I know.
Baby
Who
Puff.
knows? Baby Puff?
I mean, it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, it actually is. Did you know there's a baby cello? I don't want to go off too much.
Baby cello?
There was a baby cello, but then they got sued, so they had to change their name. But it's for like a Coachella for babies with nursery rhymes.
That would be
and
really
stuff.
cute.
Oh.
Yeah,
I could see myself there.
I'm going to hope to play there one day.
It sounds like a lot of effort for people who would not really appreciate it that much.
They had like 7,000 people
I
go to
wouldn't
this
doubt
thing.
it.
Wow.
I'm sure they have a lot.
It's
so,
crazy.
like parents and their babies.
Yes. Anyway.
Wow, that's exciting.
So check
I'll
out
have
Baby
to look in that
Check
one.
out Baby Cello again. Yeah, sure. Well, let's
I'll
all
have
go
to
to
look into
Baby
that
Cello
one.
together, dude. We'll seriously get like formula and get wasted.
Can we start a renegade
Milk
stage
wasted?
at Baby Cello? Like,
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You guys could do that.
I love this idea. You
All right,
guys.
Phil, where can they find you?
Okay, well, you know what, you guys? I will, of course, be dropping links to everything that we've talked about today into the description of this episode. If you guys wouldn't mind doing me a quick favor, and that's go ahead and mash that subscribe button as hard as you can onto however it is that you're getting your podcast to make sure that you're getting us right to your phone every Thursday. That's right. Not Friday, not Wednesday. That's too early. No, Thursday. And, of course, be sure to follow us on social media. That is at Let It Bleedcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to check on what I've been up to, because I have not been updating it that much, but you can go on Instagram and check out Nobody Cares Phil, and you can flip that around for at Phil Nobody Cares on Twitter. Mr. Amai, back to you.
My Instagram, Hoodrat Stuff with 3 Fs. Also, Psychedelic Lions Den. That's psychedelic_lions_den. Check out the dope-ass art that my friends do, as well as myself. And, you're going to be seeing me at Desert Hearts again, too. I don't think I have anything else coming up. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, let it bleed.